Okay, lesson 4 of the fractions unit today. We are doing the order of operations to expressions with fractions. So in math, we don't just, when we're evaluating when we're evaluating any expression with any operations like adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, we do it in a certain order. The order is very important. So we don't just do it left to right like we would read. We have a specific order that we need to remember. So a lot of times people use this acronym to remember it, BEDMAS. Sometimes people remember it as PEDMAS with a P for parentheses, but either way is fine. So B stands for brackets. We want to do anything that is grouped together in brackets first. Then exponents, which we won't see today, but you would want to do exponents next. Then you want to do division and multiplication in whatever order that they appear, so from left to right, and then addition and subtraction are last. Okay, so then these two and then these two. All right, let's practice on a really simple example, and then we'll do some ones with fractions. So I have an example written here, and when we do our expressions, we're going to do them one step at a time, and we're going to show each new line on, or each step on a new line. Okay, so let's figure out which operation to do first. So I have an addition, a multiplication, and a division. So we do multiplication and division before addition, and we're going to do the multiplication first. So multiplication and division come at the same time. Whatever one appears first in the equation, that's the one that we do first. So here we have 5 plus 12. 2 times 6 is 12 divided by 3. So essentially I just answered the 2 times 6 and I replaced it with a 12. See how I wrote the other numbers still and everything on a new line? Now we're going to say equals, and we're going to do the next one. So the next one that comes next is division. So this is going to be 5 plus 4. 12 divided by 3 is 4. And then finally we do the addition, which is 9. So this is the way we want to show our steps in math. Makes it nice and easy for the reader of your work to understand your steps, and you're using equal signs properly because you're writing the equivalent expression in every single line. And finally, it's equal to your answer. Okay, so let's practice doing that with fractions. First example here, 5 over 12 plus 1 over 3 divided by 2. So we have two operations here, addition and division, and we want to do the division first because that's what comes first in the order of operations. Okay, so remember with division we do keep, change, flip. But what's really important is that we write out everything every single time. So I'm still going to write the 5 over 12 plus, and now I'm going to keep the first fraction, change the sign to multiply, and flip the second fraction. Remember 2 over 1 is the same as 2, so it becomes 1 over 2. Now I'm actually going to answer that multiplication question. So it becomes 5 over 12 plus, so 1 times 1 is 1, and 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, now I'm ready to do the addition, and for addition we make a common denominator. Now, when you're doing your own work, you don't need to use the highlighting. I'm just showing the highlighting to kind of communicate which step I'm working on, but you don't need to do that. Okay, so the lowest common multiple of 12 and 6, I can make both of those numbers into 12. I can multiply 6 by 2, and I get 12. So I'm going to just convert that second fraction there. So it becomes 5 over 12 plus 2 over 12. And now I can add them together. I get 7 over 12. And that's my final answer. We would want to box that in to make it clear to the reader that that's your final answer. So see how I have one equal sign on every line. I show the entire equation every single time. And I'm just replacing what I've answered with, the answer. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, so here I have some brackets. So I'm going to work inside the brackets first, and the order of operations still applies when you're inside brackets. So inside the brackets I have subtraction and division. Division comes before subtraction. So I'm going to do that division as my very first step. So I still have 1/3. I'm still writing all this other stuff out. And for division we do keep, change, flip. You also don't need to write what I'm writing in purple. I'm just doing that to make it nice and clear what I'm doing. So we change the sign to multiplication and we flip the second fraction to its reciprocal. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and answer that multiplication. So 1 times 6 is 6, 2 times 5 is 10. Now I'm still going to work in the brackets. I still have some brackets to deal with. We haven't answered all the operations inside there yet. So now I'm going to do the subtraction, and lucky for us, the fractions already have a common denominator. So I can just go ahead and subtract them. 7 minus 6 is 1. Now, once we've answered all the operations inside the brackets, we don't need the brackets any longer, so we can drop them now. And we can do the last step, which is just this multiplication here, and there's nothing to reduce before we multiply, so I'm just going to go ahead and multiply straight across, and we get our final answer, which is 1 out of 30. Again, look at how I'm writing one equal sign per line. I'm writing the entire expression every single time, but just replacing the answers. Okay, and that is the end of that lesson.